Welcome to Own the Season podcast. We will talk to industry insiders along with outdoor enthusiasts to help you own your season. Now let's join hosts Art and Michelle Helen with Brad Jones. Own the Season podcast is sponsored by Griffin Armament, the oldest privately owned silencer manufacturer in the United States. Go to griffinarmament.com to learn how you can get a silencer shipped to your door. Griffin Armament, engineered silence.
Hello and welcome to Own the Season podcast. I'm Michelle Helen, along with Art Helen and Brad Jones, and our guest today is our good friend Jeff Danker, host of Buckventures TV. Hey, Jeff.
Well, hey, girl, how are you?
I'm great. It's good to have you.
Yeah, it's good to hang out with y'all other than us being at SHOT Show or ATA, huh?
Yeah, and it's been a while because we haven't made it there.
Yeah,
it
has. So. Yeah, we've been, I don't know how long we've known each other, but it's many years now. I always tell everybody they watched us all get old on television.
Isn't that the truth?
That's the truth. Yeah, that was a long time ago. I think the first time I met you was when we came down there to turkey hunt on your place.
Yeah, that was actually, Michelle, before I was actually even in TV. That was when Ralph and Vicky were coming down, I believe, and I just had all that ground out in northwest Oklahoma, and, you guys were some sort of inspiration for me to even be where I'm at today.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I know Art's saying is he's like, we knew Jeff Danker before he was Jeff Danker. It's kind of how,
yeah, that's right.
How he says that.
Yeah,
before you
that
were
is kind of cool. Well, hopefully, Art, I've not ever outran Jeff Danker.
You haven't, sir.
Maybe people had know me more, but I've just tried to stay who I was.
You're still the same humble Jeff that I've always known, there's a lot of hidden secrets out there that are really good secrets that more people should know about, the Jeff Danker that the rest of us know.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that big time. Back at y'all, too. Y'all have been, it's been a grind for all of us. Huh? I think a lot of times it might look easy from over there, but it's sure been it's been worth it, but it's for all of us. We've been at this deal a long time.
Very long time. And kind of fill us in on that, where you where you started in this and how you got to where you're at.
Well, gosh, I kind of started. It was back in the day. I had the Buckventures hunting lease opportunities, northwest Oklahoma. And I'm not even from there. A lot of people think I am, but I'm more central Oklahoma, so it's 4 hours to go up there. But met you guys, met Ralph and Vicky, and I was always, I grew up. My dad had a roofing company, so working hard and all that. But I was always intrigued with the hunting. And I loved hunting, but I was intrigued maybe with TV. And just worked and ended up with a kind of a local television show, and then it just went from there. I remember starting for me and getting maybe a couple of my first sponsors and just getting some product. And I just thought, oh my gosh, I just got some free broadheads, And it didn't take long to realize that them free broadheads weren't going to keep us on television. So, we started out with 2 Corinthians 5:7, to walk by faith, not by sight. Kind of changed it to shoot by sight, walk by faith. And honestly, guys, that's what's done it for me, is just 2 steps forward, 3 steps back at times, with just the faith in the Lord to kind of think, I'm where I'm supposed to be. This is the desires of my heart that He's given me, and the talent, if there was any, that He gave me. And we just kept going forward. And we somehow got there. We somehow got some people that believed. As you guys know, the Pradco family back in the day was probably the first to believe in me, which was back in the day. You guys know, but for the listener, it was the Carry Light Decoys guys. It was Night Rifles and Code Blue, Moultrie, Summit, all them, but that's kind of where my first break came from.
Yeah, and then it just kind of, unfortunately, we've been in this business for so long, that we've seen a lot of great companies, come and go. And, so we hear it quite a bit that, oh, you're jumping ship to a different company or you're doing this and that. And I don't see that. I think ourselves and you, we've all been pretty faithful, some of the most faithful people to the brands that we're with.
Sure.
It's just that there comes a point in a time that this is a business, and some people don't realize that it's a business also. And so sometimes, when those businesses are folding or those businesses are struggling, that we need to make business decisions.
Well, right. And I mean, I think I think what's bothering me at times is social media is, you always got somebody mad at you because, and it's either because you got private ground, and you shot a big deer, or you're in a bait state, or you've switched sponsors. And the thing of it is it is a business. It's what I think most of the people that get mad would trade places in a second. They would do the same thing. I mean, and it's going back to just like you just said. I mean, the truth of the matter is, I shoot a particular bow, but I've never said that these other bows are inferior. But I have always, if I got this bow in front of me and that's who I'm partnered with, that's going to be my focus. That's going to be my job to show the qualities of that bow. And, like I said, people want to fault you for it, but at the same time, that's what it is. That is, and again, I think the genuineness of the person that's doing the TV is that to me is what I always try to tell my guys is like, look, I had to learn early on. I was a people pleaser. I wanted everybody to love me, and they didn't. It's just the way it is. Not everybody's going to love you, but doing and being genuine is they at least had to respect you, whether they'd admit it or not. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's what I have tried to instill in my guys and my crew is just to be genuine who you are. And remember, not everybody will like you.
Isn't that the truth? And it's funny you say that about social media because Michelle and I and Brad were talking about this because that's, I've been building a whole bunch of social media stuff the last few days, trying to get it, ready to roll here. And everybody's mad at you for something. Well, I decided I was going to put a post out there that I'm like, there's no way. I just want to try this, and there's no way that they can, tear you apart for this post. All it is a camera pans from a smaller buck to a bigger buck, and, it's a booner standing out in the field, and it just says, your first thoughts. That's it. Nothing else. And you would never think, 95% of the comments are shooter, great buck, blah, 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 right? But then you have those comments that I'm like, where did these come from that are like, I wouldn't have a thought because it's a game farm deer. Yeah. Blah, blah, blah about private ground and about, then I'm like, yeah, you could. It doesn't matter what you put or how you do it. Somebody's going to complain. It's,
Sure.
Like yourself. I grew up Catholic, went to Catholic school, God-fearing man, just like yourself. And you look at things and you do the preaching, and I'm sure that people, have their, comments about that too. And
yeah, for sure. And I mean, I think that's just where we as, it took a while. I mean, being old school like we were, I wanted to reach through the dang keyboard and reach and grab these guys by the ears, but you just kind of had to learn that, what, it's just the way it is. And you got to just keep standing for what we believe in. But it wears you down. I mean, social media is, it's something that we all have to have. I mean, you guys are right with me, back in the day, it was way easier. I mean, somebody's paying you for a 30-second commercial to run on your dang television show.
Right.
And so we all learned that. And now the contracts and everything that we have to deal with are, TV is minor, if any. I mean, and then you have to have social media and pictures and reels and TikToks and all this stuff. And again, they can say what they want about, oh, we got it made and this and that, but anybody that's in this business knows it's work. If you're going to do it right and keep everybody happy, it's a full-time gig, for sure. Not just for one guy either, for several guys with cameras and product and producers and, videography and all that goes into it is, sometimes the 9-to-5 gig sounds pretty good.
Yeah. You're not a kid, and I've said that before. I said, it's there's days when you're like, man, could they bring the Walmart greeter position back? Because
yeah, right.
that might even be a little less stressful.
You are not cut out for that. I'm going to throw that out there. You'd have to take a different 9-to-5.
She's calling me out, Art.
I can't see you doing that either. But.
What? I think I'd be a great Walmart greeter.
Yeah, no. But I do think, like you said, it is a grind, right? And we know that because we've been doing it for a while. And that the grind has changed, over the years. And I think, the whole part about, like, trying to keep everybody happy, I think, at the end of the day, I think what, the public doesn't realize, and sometimes, like, our teams, our guys, like, we need to remind them as well, like, we work for the sponsors, not the other way around. And there's a lot of people that are, whether they're like pro staffers or what other level of, pro staff you want to call it, partners, etc., that can sometimes think it's the other way around, and they're always wanting those manufacturers, those sponsors, to do more. Like, what can you do for me? What can you give me? And I think when we last met with Gary Cornum over at Easton Archery, Art said, we work for you, and he was like, exactly. He said, and I think that's, you guys know that. He said, there's others that maybe kind of forget that, but when it comes down to it, that's who we got to keep happy and who we really are working for. Because like you said, if that's the bow or whatever, gadget or piece of equipment that we are sponsored by, that's who we're obligated to promote and educate on and, explain and so forth.
Sure. Well, I mean, just being, all of us are human, and, it's, for me anyway, I've always wanted people to, I'm trying to do it for everyone, but at the same time, you're exactly right. I mean, we have a job to do. We go do our job. We are showcasing products and doing something we love. And, but at the same time, you have to swim through the hatefulness. I mean, and some of it's just, and here's the other deal on top of it. And this is what probably irks me more than any, and y'all probably saw this last deal that just happened, is over the years, is these TV guys that had such an ego that they got to go out and cheat. And then what everybody wants to say, right? Well, all them TV guys, that's what they do. And it's not true. But we get lumped into that. I mean, the guy just went and shot 2 deer in Kansas, checked one in Oklahoma. I mean, it's just an ego deal. And it aggravates me so bad, because that's the deal. I love hunters. And, you got people that are making the case for you can shoot anything you want. And then you got the trophy hunters doing this. And my take on all of it is, like, let the guy be who he is. Maybe this guy wants to shoot this little deer. Okay, that's fine. Don't gripe about the guy that's putting all the money into his farm and working his tail end off to do it that way either. But the one thing that I separate is, I don't even care if somebody shoots high fence if they tell it. I just don't like the TV host that's cheating or shooting high fence deer and then saying they're not. Right. That is over the years what's got me. And like I said, this last deal that just happened right here close to me is, I just been reading these comments and they're going crazy with this deal of TV hunters or cheaters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And again, that's with, because we're put in a spotlight, that happens or seems to happen more often. And I think part of that also is, again, back to the social media thing, is because there's such a reach with that now, that it's a lot easier to sit at your keyboard and trash everybody instead of working for it. Granted, they are wrong, 100% wrong for doing what they did illegally. I'm not for that. I think that they should pay the price for what they've done. But, I mean, it's just like the guys that film for us and work with us. I mean, we have them sign a contract that, you know, anything illegally done, seen, said, or whatever, you know, they're gone. Won't tolerate it, you know. And but it's so easy now to go out there on that social media and make it public and crucify that person. That it makes it that much harder for all of us. So
yeah, social media is definitely, again, it can be great and it can be awful, but I think it just boils down to more of the heart of each individual, you know, and that's where we all got to stick. We just got to continue to fight the fight as the Bible tells us to, and every day, and you know that people are going to downgrade, you know that there are going to be people put you down, they're going to come after you and this and that, and just stay the course, do our very best, and know that this time on this earth is just what the Bible says, just the vapor here anyway. So that is kind of, again, as we're old school and you watch this stuff just it seems to be worse and worse and worse, but just find that joy that we can, if we're looking hard enough, we can find that joy every day and just be blessed and thankful for what we get to do.
What have you been doing lately? Like, what have you been up to this past year?
Well, so, you know, obviously my same old. I mean, you know, many people probably don't know, but back in the day, you know, all I did was rodeo. And so when I started the show years ago, Michelle, back in 2000, early 2000, I quit. I got rid of my horses, sold all my horses, and I quit rodeoing. And so this year I went back to rodeoing again, along with all the hunting and everything that I'm doing. So rodeoing, doing a lot of that, and then you know, setting up farms. We got all our soybeans in, you know, all that kind of stuff. Feeders going, got cameras out. I held off on cameras a little bit late this year on purpose, and that right now we're just finding the bucks. So our season in Kansas will start, you know, mid-September. I got one of the girls that works for me. She's going to be going up there in the muzzleloader. We got Tyler Jordan coming in this year, so trying to prepare for that. And you know the deal. It's like Christmas every night right now, just seeing if another big velvet deer shows up.
And then the cell cams.
Yes, right.
I can't go anywhere without Art like picking up his phone. There's a notification of a new picture. You know.
I know exactly.
And it's horrible because you sit there and you know, it used to be, oh, I wonder who I got a text from, and you could check that every once in a while. Well, now at this time of year, you know, in the spring, once in a while I check them for turkeys because I got turkey hunters coming in, people coming in, and so I'll be like, okay, where are the turkeys at now? You know, in the morning, midday, and in the evening, what are they doing? So I can figure out their routes. Well, now it's, you know, every time that something goes off, is it a new deer? Because
yeah, exactly.
You know, we're in that transition time that a lot of people don't understand, and you know, it's where they've been watching these bucks all summer long, and now all of a sudden that buck has disappeared. So they're all trying to watch their cameras and see where that buck is, or if it's still there. More than likely, that deer is not there. More than likely, that was its summer range, and that deer is now moving off. And what deer they're gonna have are starting to move back in, you know, or their homebody deer, you know, from the past few years. So
yeah,
those deer are gonna come back in. That's why right now I get excited about my cameras. I'm like, man, is this deer back or is that deer back? And you know, where have they moved different on the farm, and why did they move? Is there a new buck in the other part of the farm that pushed them off there? And so, yeah, this time of year, I get pretty excited about it with the cameras. And so, yeah, the phone, unfortunately, doesn't go very far from my pocket or my lap for, you know, trying to figure out where these deer are and what they're doing. And Because with TV, we have a lot of content to create. Social media, we have a lot of content to create. So when you're trying to get all that content, we're trying to do as much homework as possible to try to be as successful as possible, to lay down that footage, to do what we have to do and move on to the next. So we can create those, 13 shows. I don't know how many shows you're doing now, because you've got 2 TV shows, right? You have Buckventures and The Woodsman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think The Woodsman is 13 and Buckventures is 18. So. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then all the freaking, YouTube and live, semi-live that we're doing, and so it's I got a bunch of little editors going.
So much content.
Yeah, and it's Brad and myself. We are the little editors. So
I don't know how y'all kept up with it, man. It's these young kids. I mean, I watch them, and I can't even, as they're editing, I can't even keep up with what's going on. It's so crazy to see these young kids, how they do that.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, slow down. I can't even see what you're doing. When they come there and they have me watch them, I'm like, look, leave it alone let me just see it. But yeah, it's without them, the social media and everything, I could not keep up. There's no way. So hats off to you guys.
It's crazy anymore, and that's, like I said, that's what I've been doing the last couple days and stuff, is just grabbing what I can and building clips and doing what you can in the social media world, because now the hardest one for me is TikTok. It's the fastest growing according to all the companies, but it's the hardest one for me because I'm so used to Facebook and Instagram, where you can show stuff getting shot. You can show a weapon. You can do these things. You can't do that on TikTok. So it's a whole different, creation, a whole different mindset on TikTok to still try to get our point across what we do without actually killing something.
Right.
And so that just creates that much more time, that much more pressure per se for us to get things done. So,
and then airing on Q2 also is, I'll be editing during the hunting season this year, so
right,
we can have our content ready for Q2.
Yeah. See, no one told us all that back in the day, did they? That hey, you'll have to be working during hunting. Yeah, I didn't realize all that. All we all wanted to do was just hunt for a living.
Right.
And so that's what everybody thinks you do, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they don't realize that when we get into like the rut and we have to be out there in a tree, that they don't realize that a lot of that time we are hunting all day, sun up to sundown, and then coming back and uploading footage or getting social media done or whatever, and living on whatever sleep we can for those 3 weeks out of the year. That's absolutely crazy. And when I was younger, it wasn't a big deal. Now that I'm getting older, it's a big deal.
We're working on contracts so we can have a show, right?
Right. Yeah, and back in the day, you guys remember, I remember back in the day, a show might have, say, $700,000 worth of money. They were going to spend 60% of it in TV and the other 40% in print. And that was as far as it went. And so all you had to do back then is you're like, okay, you're fighting for that money over there on the TV side. And so they're going to spend it with someone. And so to me, that was so much easier, where nowadays it's so spread out. And like I said, it's like, okay, what do you have? It's not just the TV or the print. It's, where's your followers here? What are you doing here? What's your content? And it's just so much. And then the competition of this influencer and this girl here that is going to show a bunch of skin to whatever, and she's only charging someone $1,500, that deal is crazy.
Well, I got to circle back to this rodeo stuff, because I don't think we've had anybody on our podcast yet that's like, that's doing rodeo right now. So what events are you doing?
Well, so shoot, back in the day, Michelle, so when we started out, me and my brother, we were that's all my dad trained us to do since we were 4 years old, to go to the NFR. So we were calf roping and team roping. And anyway, now being older, all I do is team rope. So I bought me some real nice horses, and we do a lot of these. And those of you who don't know, I mean, nowadays they have these things where it's like it's kind of like the senior golf tour. So you can actually make Vegas finals, not the NFR, but you can go out there and rope. You know, I'll be out there roping in December for $250,000 to win one of those ropings. So, yeah, we do a lot of, you know, just the jackpot rodeos, team roping, from open shows to, you know, we was at the Lazy this last week, and you know, it's been fun. I got to go, you know, kind of rewind time, if you will.
Nice. So are you header or heeler?
I mainly head. I got some really, really nice horses on the head side, and that's kind of where it's gotten now, is the horsepower, is making sure you got really nice horses. The way they do these things now, they have it where these steers are just they're really strong, really run hard, and you gotta get out and sure enough be horseback to catch one of them.
Mm-hmm. Fun. Awesome.
Yeah, I know.
So you mentioned it's kind of like you know, the golf in a way. So is there a senior category for rodeo?
Well, there is. So yeah, a lot of these well, I do compete against the kids on some, but there is a lot of what I try to go to is these big, you know, 40 and over. So you got to be 40 years old to enter them, and then they put a higher price on them. So, you know, the kids, a lot of these young kids you don't want to hardly go up against them anyway. They're you know, instincts are better than ours now, but they can't afford to get in some of these ropings. So these 40 and over, some of these ropings, you know, to enter might be $2,500 a man to enter them.
Oh, okay.
But they might pay $70,000.
Uh-huh.
So those type of deals is what we go to a lot. I mean, we rope against the kids some too, but, you know, try to be smart and enter those ones that, you know, and then they also, so in other words, like the NFR, you know, contestants, we're not roping against them. So in other words, they have a handicap system. So it'd be like kind of going playing golf. You get a handicap deal. So when you rope, you know, I might rope an 11-point roping, and that keeps some of those NFR guys out, if you will, you know, so the higher number guys. So it kind of can make it even of who you're roping against.
Awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I like watching rodeo. We've gone to some rodeo in the past and taken our daughters in years past. It'd be fun if we could catch you sometime.
Yeah, well, just you ever get down this way, holler. There's a good chance I'll be at some rodeo.
All right.
Well, I'm just happy.
You're going to rodeo and hunt.
There you go. Yeah, and I'm happy for you, man, that you're still physically, you know, able to do that. And, you know, because there's a lot of us at this age that unfortunately have put our bodies through enough stuff already that my body is not allowing me to do some of that stuff as much as my mind is telling me, yeah, do that.
Right.
My body's saying no. So, you know, hats off to you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, and it hadn't come. It's kind of come with a price since I got back in. I've had some growing issues, so I've had to get through. I'm kind of getting through them, but yeah, I've been in the emergency room a few times on that. Just pulled kind of the growing off the bone. You know, these high-powered horses, and you know, anybody that's ever had a growing issue, you know how long that takes to heal. So I'm kind of in a 6-7 month deal that I've had that, but I'm kind of getting through it. So Lord willing, I'll be able to continue on.
Well, I'm going to circle back to something else too. So are you still developing any types of, you know, calls for the companies you're with? You still doing any of the product development stuff?
Well, I am. I'm, you know, Academy Sports and Outdoors is, so basically we developed, you know, mainly all the Magellan camo, with the help of their team as well, but then their ground blinds and their feeders. So I've got to be hands-on with that art now for over 10 years.
Nice.
You know, when I first started, I remember we went and sat in one of their blinds, and you couldn't even shoot a bow out of it. So they really listened to us over the years to get those right. And then even with Woodhaven calls, you know, I got to be the guy that designed the you know, along with Mike Pentecost, the deer calls. working with him and Mark Scroggins and so I got to do all that and I got to do the easy part. I got to say, guys, no, this ain't gonna work. It ain't loud enough, or this or that, and then they'd take it and go fix it and then bring it back. And so it was real fun. And then to see where those calls are, to see where the Academy products have come from, and that's one thing I love about being with Academy all these years is it's the cheapest. Some of the cheapest products you can get, but we got them where, we're killing some big deer and hunting all across the world in their camo and this and that. So it's been, it's kind of fits me, if you will. It just fits that, we're not a high brand, whatever. We're just a solid brand that gets the job done, if that's fair.
Right.
Set for the everyday hunter, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, because I don't know if you still have them, but every time I see you, I remind you, and I still do. I still have one of the prototype original Easy Wheezes from you.
I know, isn't it something?
And I don't know if you've got any left, but actually the other day I was looking at it. I was down cleaning some stuff in my hunting room, and I'm like, look at that. There it is. So
yeah, man, what a time in my life. A young boy or young, and dealing with David Forbes, and I'm sure I know they got the better end of that deal with me, but I didn't know come here from Sikkim, but I did all right. I made some money and kind of got me going, and I ain't gonna gripe. The Lord had a plan all along.
He did, and you're making, his plan is, not sure what his complete plan is yet, but with where it is as of today, you're taking it and running with it and doing the best you can. So
yeah, we've shared the gospel on pretty much every episode we ever did, which that's what the Lord impressed on me years ago, and then I've got to speak at all these churches across, and I'm going to continue to do that, and just bring Him all the glory I can while I'm still here on this earth. That's my plan.
Nice. Do you still do a gospel on Sundays?
I do. We share the gospel on every television show, Woodsman show, and Buckventures, and then I share, all across the Midwest, and really I go to New York, everywhere where they bring me in art to these wild game dinners, and I get to, tell some hunting stories and then share the gospel.
So tell us a little bit about the Woodsman. I mean, you were originally, Buckventures, and you still are. But I believe, and I believe that's just a smaller team, has kind of a different feel to it, different appeal than what the Woodsman is.
Well, it kind of started with like Bill Winkie back in the day. So I had a pro staff early, and I was getting away from a pro staff. And I remember being at one of the sportsman shows or something with Winkie, and he's like, Jeff, man, don't get away from that pro staff, this and that. And I kind of listened to him, but not a lot. But I just remember kind of what got me, Art, was I just remember having the dream of trying to have the show. And I remember some people treated me so awful, like nothing. But then there was those ones that, like you guys, that looked at me and were genuine to me and rooted for me. And that was kind of where the Woodsman, I thought, what if I could give, because, you guys probably get the same thing. I mean, 90% of my messages over those years were, how do I get in the hunting industry? What can I do to get in the hunting industry? And I thought, what, I'm going to start a show, and I'm going to give the opportunity for people to come on board as our pro staff, and we're going to let them try to make that 13-episode show. And that's where it all started. It was iron sharpens iron as one man sharpens another. And what we do every year, guys, is we have a summit, a Buckventures summit, April 25th, 26th, 27th, usually somewhere in those dates. And it's a big, big production. And we have right now over 300 people show up to that every year. And we teach them how to film. All the sponsors there, Realtree, Bill Jordan, all these people come in. academies there. They tell them how they want them to advertise their products. They all get a discount for those products. You know, we give away on Friday night, guys, over $200,000 worth of products and hunts. And that all comes from the sponsors to these guys who have worked the previous year the hardest, from Hunt of the Year to Videographer of the Year to Social Media of the Year to Best Pictures of the Year, Best Reels, and on it goes. All these awards that we give, Junior Woodsman of the Year. And then the top 13, actually it's about top 13 get to make the shows, and then we have one show where we put about 10 other ones on there. So there's about 25 of them make national TV every year. And the whole goal was just that. I mean, where did we all start? I mean, heck, where did Lee and Tiffany start? They started with Realtree. They had some videos, and that's where they started. Everyone had that starting point. So that's what I have tried to be with these guys. And then at the same time, when you get that many, you get that army of 300 people, you know, it's a lot of work, but a lot of fruit comes from that as well, from social media, being able to engage with so much with the sponsors and having that kind of power. I don't really know of anyone else who's done that other than maybe Winky.
Yeah, I can't think anybody either.
No.
That's a big undertaking, and you know, to have that many people come in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy, because I look at the number that we have, and yeah, I look at, you know, sometimes it's tough to keep a track on that, let alone, you know, as many people as you're trying to get on there. And
they sign a contract, they sign code of conduct, so you're always, you know, we got a full-time guy that polices it all. I mean, so in other words, if all of a sudden, you know, we tell them at the meeting, look, you're going to sign this is what it means. And that means if you're going to have an F word on your social media, you can bet, and you got up there Buckventures pro staff, you're going to get a call that night. And, you know, we've had some people that don't take it well, but we're like, look, you signed the contract. We showed you all at the meeting. This is the way it is. If you're going to represent us, and that's what you do when you sign this contract and code of conduct, you know, again, if you want to go off and F-bomb at this and drink here and drink, you know, whatever you want to do, that's fine. I don't care. But publicly, that is a no-go once you step in foot with this.
Right.
You know, so, you know, that monitor back to how much work it is. Yeah, there's a lot of work.
Well,
there's a lot of.
And the thing they don't realize too, Jeff, is, and they might realize it, but they just don't take it quite as serious, is, you know, we're not just representing us. You're not representing Buckventures.
Yeah.
You're not representing the Woodsman. We're not representing Own the Season anymore. We are representing everyone, every one of our sponsors, everyone we work with. So, I mean, you are representing Academy Sports, and every partner that you have, the same with us. And they have to realize that that's what they're doing too. And a lot of them don't realize that, because they say, well, I'm on my own social media page. It doesn't matter if you are on your own social media or not. If you are representing us, you are also representing those companies. And we are the ones, not you, but we as the owners we're the ones that are going to take the hit for it. We're going to take the beating. Yeah. So, you know, it's, and so hats off to you, you know, because there's, you know, trying to enforce that and keeping that enforced and watching all their social media. It's tough, you know, so.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, sometimes I don't know if it's worth it or not, but like I said, I know a lot of dreams have, sure enough, been fulfilled because of it. And it's always good to see that. I'm seeing a lot of people come to know the Lord at our summit. You know, I think we have 25 different pastors that are on our pro staff. And so it's just it's a wholesome deal too, you know, and again, that summit, we share, you know, the gospel every night at that big deal. And like I said, it's mandatory for first timers to come. So you have to kind of see what it's about before you can even join the pro staff. So yeah, it's a cool deal. And we'll see where the Lord takes it from here.
What do you have big for this fall coming up? Any big plans going anywhere?
Nothing too big. I mean, we've been doing this deal. We started last year. We're going to Real Tree Farms and shooting a conservation show, which has really been fun for me, just going and, you know, how it is just to go and just hunt, just go kill some stuff. So that's kind of cool. I'll probably end up going to Nebraska to the Real Tree deal up there. And then I'll do my Kansas, my Oklahoma. I have Ohio, possibly some Illinois. So just kind of running around here, being just that guy, you know, nothing big, no bucket list hunts or nothing this year for me. Just going after and trying to find, just being that regular guy, trying to find some good whitetail to kill.
Is your daughter, I believe your daughter was doing some filming with you too.
Yeah, my oldest daughter was Art, and you know, she got married and now she's a banker, and then my youngest daughter is just she's just 19 and she just signed with the OSBI, so kind of it's like FBI in Oklahoma. So she does some hunting with me when she has time, but just going to college, working for OSBI, and so, you know, Tracy and I run around doing some rodeo stuff, my wife, and then hunting and just kind of, I don't know, I'm 53 now, and it's just, I'm trying to just stay young and keep moving.
I got a couple years on you, but yeah, just try to stay healthy, man. It's age, they say, is just a number, but I'm also finding out that number, you know, it's funny because I always say this. Back when I was a kid, I mean, I was always an adrenaline junkie, did a lot of stupid things that I probably should have never done. Michelle might even agree with that. But, you know, I just did a lot of stupid things, you know, kind of paid the price. But at that time, you know, my football coaches or, you know, my other athletic coaches, my martial arts instructors and coaches, they'd all look at me and they'd be like, hey, just remember, man, pain is temporary, pride is forever. And yeah. I took that, you know, and I took that and ran with it forever. And now I'm looking at it going, man, I really wish I could find those guys again because I'd punch them right in the teeth because they're full of crap. It's, you know, pain was temporary back then. But now as I get older, that temporary has come back and creeped into my body where it is now no longer temporary. It is like it's a 24/7 ache. And, but, you know, and I've had people, would you do it again? Yeah, you know, because it's kind of, in one way, it's made me who I am today. I don't like all the pain and stuff that you're in now, but it's really, you know, it a lot of that stuff shapes you into the person that you're going to be. And, you know, like you said, the good Lord has a plan. Is it for you to be dumb and stupid when you're younger? Yeah, maybe for some of us. But because of that, I think in one way he's trying to teach you, you know, the difference between right and wrong because you know, you're too bullheaded not to listen to anybody else. So it's a good Lord's plan of saying, hey man, I'll teach you one way or another.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, no fall, obviously probably no fall turkey hunts or anything down there.
Excuse me?
I said, you probably won't be doing any like fall turkey hunts or anything like that.
No, nothing. We'll do, you know, we're sponsored by NWTF, so we do a lot in the spring now.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll have some big plans there, but, you know, I ain't got them on the books yet. That'll kind of be more of a, you know, oh, we're running over to here or there, you know, and, one day I might try to do the slam. You know, I did that with my daughters, so, but I just never have done it.
Well, if you ever need a place to come out and shoot an Eastern, just let me know because, you know, you can buy them over the tag later on in the year, and I got plenty of places for you to come shoot one in the face. So, other than that, it's, I'm just looking forward to fall here and things coming up, and, you know, it's getting that time of year. We got 1 month I think it is for us because I think we open what are we, the 13th? 13th of September we open here in Wisconsin.
It's coming. It'll be September 1st for a lot of people.
It will. I kind of forgot about that. You get out west and there's a lot of
even North Dakota.
Right.
I think North Dakota's right there. So
yeah, it's been a long time since I've hunted out there, and this year we don't have a ton planned. I'm still looking at maybe doing something in Nebraska or trying to run somewhere to try to get something in. But right now it's looks like a pretty quiet fall because we're hoping to, go back to Florida in the spring and then head to Africa over the summer next year and do some Africa stuff. And but we'll see. We'll see how that goes too.
Well, y'all have to shoot me some pictures.
Oh yeah. You too, I'll have to, I know you're always chasing those, big deer down there in Oklahoma and Kansas and everything else. And it always amazes me because, nobody thinks of Oklahoma with big deer. And I always, see as soon as the first big deer shows up, it's always got to have Jeff Danker behind it. So.
Yeah, you know what it costs to hunt here now? We're the most expensive tag in the whole United States now. I think it's $780 to get a tag here.
No way.
Yep. And and just so you know, I've gotten a lot of hate over that. Everybody thinks that's from me.
Your fault.
Well,
yeah, it's literally the most expensive tag you can get.
Yeah,
wow.
But do you have to get points every year, or can you just buy an account?
No, you can come this year, but you would get here and you would have to buy a bow tag for $780, and then if you want a muzzleloader hunt, you'd have to pay another $780.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's
the thing is, it is the most expensive deer tag, but with the Iowa point system, you're $1,000 in.
Well, you're right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, $50 times 6. That's $300, and then once you draw,
Yep. Depending on the unit.
Yeah, because I think it's another five something or 6 something for their tag.
Yeah.
So now you're looking $800-900 into it, but it's it is what it is, and of course then you come to Wisconsin and it's $250 and you can shoot like 40 deer or some stupid thing. I mean, it's
oh wow.
Yeah.
We'd like to thank Jeff for being with us today. It was certainly nice talking with you. And you can find him on the Outdoor Channel with Buckventure, on the Sportsman's Channel on the Outdoorsman, and on the socials for both Buckventure and Outdoorsman. Folks, find your purpose, follow your heart, chase your dreams, and remember, own the season.
Follow Own the Season Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for listening.
Check back weekly for new episodes.